globally, because it's not just in Zimbabwe I'm beginning to serve. I'm speaking and helping to create a thought pattern about leadership on the African continent in many spaces as well.
All right, so we do like this idea of actually shaping leadership. Before you started making videos about what Robert Mugabe had done to the country, you did teach on leadership, and you talked about marriage and relationship, etc. So we do realize the skill you have in that area. But let's go back to when you were making these videos. A lot of criticism came up and said, well, makudeta politics. And your statement was, no, I have no intention of becoming a politician. So what changed your mind?
Well, I think the response was not that I've got no intention of becoming a politician. I think the intention was that there is nothing wrong with it, even though I may not have an interest right now. But let me also say this. When did it become illegal for someone to change their mind? People change their mind all the time. But we improve our ideas. You become involved in something and you can change your mind. You can say, you know what, I was a pastor, I've made up my mind, I'm going to become a social activist. And then I've made up my mind, I'm going to now, get in and become part of the political process. And it should be allowed in our country.
And rightly it is. When the election date and the electoral college actually sits, you can actually register as a councillor. You are allowed to. It's not illegal. But the question still remains, because the people of Mount Pleasant, we're a Harare station after all, the people of Mount Pleasant are asking themselves, like, so the question is, what changed? What changed for you? What made you think that, activism isn't enough, I need to become a political player?
The journey of engaging the issues over the last 2 years is a journey that has opened my eyes continuously at every turn. Like any citizen in this country, there's a lot that I did not know and did not understand about how the country is run, about some of the issues that are affecting us. Where are these issues coming from? And as you learn where the issues are coming from, you also start to formulate new ideas about the solutions around it. So in my journey of learning and of engaging the issues, of investigating personally and continuing in the social activism space, I started coming to the realization that if you do not start to make yourself available to get into public office with the ideas of change you have, there's very little chance that you're going to get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because one of the other things, I was listening to your interview with Ruveniko, the infamous Ruveniko interview,
Yes.
one of my colleagues here at Cappy Talk. You also mentioned when she kept asking, so what do you want government to do? And you kept saying, well, I'm a citizen. My job is not to give them the solutions. It's for them to actually give us the solutions because it's their job. So now you're asking to say, okay, fine, I'm going to step in and give the solutions.
Excellent.
Solutions.
I think when I made the comment that, you know what, my job is not to give them the solutions. That's why we elected them.
Right.
The realization soon after that was that these people actually don't have the solutions. I'm expecting solutions to come from people that don't have them. So I began to walk a journey that I think should be the journey that every politician and everyone who's getting into public office must walk. And it's the journey of interacting, interfacing, cross-pollinating with people, with the voters, with residents, because that's where the solutions come from. We have a very big problem in Zimbabwe where we think that the people that elect us actually don't know the solutions to the problems that they have. They do. The problem is that most of our elected officials don't go back to those people when they're elected. You ask most Harare residents, when was the last time you saw your councillor? And you'll be surprised. That question alone should inform you why people like me have stood up now.
All right then, as always, you can join the conversation. If you're just joining us, I'm speaking to Pastor Evan Mawarire. I'm not sure if we say Pastor Evan Mawarire, politician Evan Mawarire, activist Evan Mawarire, but I'm speaking to Evan Mawarire this morning at Startup Capital, and we are focusing or following up on the question that he's decided to stand up for City Council and he wants to be elected as a councillor for Mount Pleasant. So the question is, what happened, what changed, and what got us here? And as always, you can be part of the conversation. The number to dial is 0717 777 777. You can call us, send us a WhatsApp message of voice note, or you can actually use our landline number. That's Harare number 495112, and be part of the conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are on some of these issues. Now, I've got some messages coming in, and quite a few issues. I'll start with the first one. And it says, Mr. Mawarire, your vision is now corrupted. Please focus on mobilizing people to force government to carry out reforms and ensure fair polls come into play. And this comes from this issue where a lot of people, during the time you're doing some of your work, people say, they want you to step into the political limelight. So the minute they see you getting into the political limelight, they're like, see, I told you so.
Well, I mean, I think it's important for people to understand first and foremost that my standing up to do what I did was not by appointment. This was not a committee that sat down and gave me a job or appointed me. It is a journey I embarked on because of what I believe. okay, and what I continue to believe. So I will make certain decisions based on what I see as the solution going forward. The job of mobilizing people to hold government to account is not the job of one person, it's the job of everybody. What I was doing was modeling. Kuti, this is the way you do it. There is not a single person in this country or in many other countries that does not understand the persecutions that I suffered for that. Okay, so for me, the idea was I'm showing you how to do this thing. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to move on to something else because I am not going to be stuck in one place. We've got to move on and take things to the next level in terms of, finding solutions for where we are. So I'm not about to go with popular demand in terms of, no, we think you should go this way or we think you should go that way. That's great advice. But at the end of the day, the decision that I'm making is that we have a leadership problem, and I'm not going to continue to throw stones from the sideline. I'm going to get in to try and make a difference.
Right, and those who say that everything you do is a publicity stunt, you're looking for relevance.
Well, I mean, if I was looking for relevance, to be honest, would I be running for council? I would probably be running for president like most people wanted me to do. Trish, I am focused. I'm very focused on helping the citizen to become empowered, to become active, and to become responsible. I could have gone for MP, I could have gone for president and put up a good show and gotten all the publicity that I want. What more publicity would I want now after the last 2 years of what I've gone through? But the bottom line, the publicity is not what I was after. And that shows you by what I'm doing right now. I'm going for council. I'm focused. And if and when, in fact, when I win that council seat, that is going to be my job. I may not become mayor, I may become mayor, and if it ends in 5 years in that council seat, and at the end of 5 years I've delivered my mandate, I've done my job. I don't view myself as someone who is still trying to succeed. By God, I've already succeeded. We have already achieved so much more than that anyone actually thought we could. So we don't stop here. We don't stop because people think that I'm doing the wrong thing. It's not the first time I've been criticized. I've been criticized by many people at many points, and at many of those points I've proved those people wrong.
All right. Well, I need to talk to you about self-actualization because I need to know the road that you walked on to get to where you are. But as always, we open up our studio lines at 0717 777. I've got someone joining me. Good morning. Who am I speaking to and where are you listening from?
Yeah, speaking to Russell from Southern.
Right, Russell. What's your question for Pastor Evan?
I can give the biblical example. Moses was a politician. What the pastor is doing is the pastor is a teacher. In thumbs up to pastor. No, change right now because of their prayers. You see, whenever we see a man of God trying to do that, he's kind of teaching us. He could have run for an MP or for a presidential seat, but the way which he is doing is Pastor Evan. I do remember.
Right, unfortunately we've lost that call, but as always you can join the conversation at 0717 777.
You know what I like about what this man has just said?
What?
This is the important road in this. We are teaching each other how to get involved. And Moses Joshua, those guys were not just social justice activists, they were politicians. They went and stood for the people. They went and made recommendations to government. Could you know this is the way things should work? So this is what I'm doing. After challenging Mugabe, you're talking about one of the newspapers that has the headline, How the Mighty Have Fallen. Or how the mighty have crumbled, whichever way they're choosing.
From Mugabe to council.
No, from where? Fallen from where? It's a journey. Here's the thing: whether when you are clamoring for accountability, whether you are challenging Mugabe or you are challenging the city council, it is the same. Upenyu. Vanu vaifa under Mugabe are the same people who will also be dying under a city council in Noisa sewage mvura Zimbabwe. Okay, so we must choose our journeys and choose it pointedly. I want to run for council along with the other independent councillors, by the way, that I'm running with, because we see that as a sustainable way of effecting change within our communities. This is not for sure. This is a TV.
All right then, and as always, you can join the conversation. We're also live streaming on Facebook. It's on my Facebook page. That's on my oh goodness me. All right, so it's also live streaming on Facebook. You can also find it at Cappy Talk 100.4 FM. We'll also be sharing a link on our Facebook page, and you can also hear more. Good morning. Who am I speaking to and where are you listening from?
Hello?
Hi, good morning. Who am I speaking to?
My name is Mark. I'm calling you from Rua.
Right, Mark. I need you to close the window of your car because there's a lot of interference coming in. But what's your question for Pastor Evan?
All right, cool. I don't have a question for Pastor Evan as such, but I'd like to encourage him to keep moving on with this agenda, because every citizen has a right to stand up to and say to society. President, MP. There's no reason why anybody should criticize him. Everybody has a right. These political parties have let us down for far too long. We need to have my independent candidate. Can my MP guide my independent, because my political parties are political parties. They are busy pushing on their own agenda. MDC, but we need agenda development that is good agenda development party that's still and watch politics don't ballot box independent down for too long.
All right then. All right, thank you so much for that comment. All right, so we're letting someone else also get in. I've just got a quick question from someone. The constituency, because you're running for council, so the ward you're running in is in Mount Pleasant constituency. Is that within Fadzai Mahere's, the constituency that Fadzai Mahere is running in?
Actually, yes, Fadzai Mahere is running for MP for Mount Pleasant, and Ward 17 as well as Ward 7 is within Mount Pleasant. And us guys, actually, the independents that are running under People's Own Voice, have taken both those wards. So Ward 7 is Duduzile Nyirongo, and Ward 17 is myself. So I think for me that's an exciting development. This has never happened in the politics of Zimbabwe. We are coming in to change the narrative, not just for the sake of it, but to show people kuti aiwa kana muchida kuchinja zvinhu. If you want to change things, it's possible, and it's okay for a community to take matters into their own hands and do it through the ballot box.
Right. Okay then, as always, you can be part of the conversation. The number to dial is 0717 777 777. Call us, text us, send us a WhatsApp message or a voice note and be part of the conversation. You can also use our landline number. That's on 495112. Good morning. Who am I speaking to and where are you listening from?
Hello, you're speaking to Kuda.
Kuda, you please turn off your radio, and what's your comment? Please make it brief.
I wanted to say that it's good that we have independent candidates in politics. Like the previous caller said, in a party politics, in a patronage, then we end up taku ngodangoti party akati win. At the end of the day, party national development, not just development, but the independent sharing of ideas. I think watching like politics, I say my independent, ideas. Daima party bumita kuti muno ani pungwa yake akasiyana even pamwe ari kutungamirira ibvumwe kutaurwa manje munhu anenge angoti aita pungwa imwe akuti ZANU-PF inodzinga vanhu MDC inodzinga vanhu zviri nani mapati zvizipe tichangeta ma-independent candidates but ma-independent candidates acho ngaauye achiziva kuti anofanira kukera ma-ideas practical ideas which will bring development and move forward, challenge the status quo. Kwete kuzongoita tozwa kuti majoina nhingi ini zvezvi mune mambo vote wanawa saka ngamati independent ngaite independent oramba akamira ipapo. That principle should stand.
All right then, thank you so much for that thought. All right, and we're getting quite a number of comments, and as always, you can join the conversation. But I've got a question that resonates with quite a number of people. This one is from Brian in Mount Pleasant in your constituency. So Brian from Mount Pleasant says, Anzi, what's changed? This guy is after individual interest. We won't vote for him. He used us.
I think the question is, I used you for what? If I wanted to have used people, Trish, I would never have come back to Zimbabwe. 1st of February 2017, I came back to Zimbabwe of my own volition, knowing fully well that I could get arrested or get into trouble. And I did. I spent the whole year of 2017 in and out of courts, in and out of jail, as I continued to shout for social justice. The question here is not about who used who. The question is, what do you want as a citizen going forward for Zimbabwe? This whole idea of pointing fingers and saying he used me, he used me, he used me is never going to work. We blamed Mugabe and he was wrong, but we were also equally to blame because we were absent. We were never there to do what we were supposed to do. We were not challenging him like we were supposed to challenge him. And I've stepped up. If somebody feels that they have been used, I think that they need to ask themselves the question, what are they about? What are you after? What do you want to do? What is your agenda? I've walked a journey which I'm extremely proud of up to now. And whether I win or lose this particular, in fact, we say win or learn on this particular journey, I come away having served my generation, having served my nation, and absolutely proud of it. And there are many people, by the way, who are going to vote for me when the election comes, and I will be the councillor for Ward 17.
All right, well, we'll see if that works out. Majumba Kupa seems to have an interesting thought. I'm going to read, it's quite a bit of a long message. It says, Anzi, to Mr. Mawarire, you said at the beginning of the show that politicians are there to serve, but I beg to differ. Politicians are there to effect power, and power is given to them by an individual from the people. So, politics is a dirty game. Pastors serve and politicians campaign for power and influence because it is, because in as purporting to want to serve, which is political rhetoric, by the way, the people are the people, you in essence want them to give you power. What's your take on the statement that says absolute power corrupts absolutely?
I agree with some of his sentiments there, where he says that absolute power corrupts and corrupts absolutely. And I think this is why I said in the beginning that when you get in to politics, it is about serving the people. The way that absolute power should not corrupt you is when you get in and you are elected and you allow yourself to remain accountable to the people that have elected you. But when you elect somebody whom you do not have the power to hold accountable, then that person is going to be corrupted absolutely by the power that you have given them. And so if our commenter says that there is no such thing as serving in politics and it's all political rhetoric, then why do you elect people then? Why do you waste your time going to the ballot box electing people and electing parties? There should be a sense of belief in your mind that these people are going to serve me. That's why you go and you actually elect those people. So I beg to differ. There is a way to serve people. We must introduce that way. We must show it. Not every politician is bad. Not every councillor is bad. Right now in Zimbabwe, we have some good MPs. We have some good councillors who have been serving, genuinely serving people, and they have not been there after power.
All right, then, as always, join the conversation. The number to dial is 0717 777 A lot of the messages coming in seem to be repeating the same sentiment. Someone is saying, Mr. Mawarire, you used to be a symbol of hope, but now you're being myopic in your journey. Your journey was to help deliver us free and fair elections. Now, joining the feud system, honestly, you are shortchanging the nation. That's a message coming in. And someone, this is an interesting one. I like this question. Pastor Ivan, is your family still living in the USA? Surely the threat on your lives is no longer present.
Well, I don't know how somebody is actually able to assess that the threat on our lives is no longer present. I am still under surveillance as far as I know. I'm still followed. I still receive death threats even up to today. So I don't think that it's fair for anybody to say surely the threat on your family is no longer present. I'm not sure what kind of an assessment they're using there. But I want to go back to the previous comment about the vision that has become myopic. These are things, Trish, that I have experienced on this journey time and time again. When I stood up, people said, "You are being myopic, you're making noise, shut up and sit down." When I was arrested and then I left the country after I ran for my life with my family, people again said, "You used us, you're a waste of time, you're being myopic." I came back into the country, was arrested, people again said, "Why did you come back? You're stupid, you're silly, you should have stayed out, you're being myopic." We stood with University of Zimbabwe students who were being attacked, we prayed with them, I was arrested again, people said, "You're being myopic, you're wasting time, you no longer have relevance." And yet we persevered, we carried on. I was arrested again when we started talking about how things were going bad. And so for me, this journey, I am learning that each person must come to a place of asking themselves, what do I believe and ardently believe? And at every point that some people have said kuti he's wasting his time, after we have moved and we have achieved a result, those people have come back again and they've said, you know what, we didn't see it the way you were saying. Thank you so much for sticking to your journey. Thank you so much for pushing for what you've been pushing for. So I am not moved. And the thing is, I appreciate when people say things like that, because it helps me to assess myself and to be sure of what I am doing. And I'm very sure of what I'm doing here. I am on a journey to contribute to the betterment of Zimbabwe, and I will do that at the lowest level possible, on the ground, grassroots, because that's where it matters. Our catchphrase has always been, if we cannot cause the politician to change, then we must inspire the citizen to be bold. And ndo basa rangu hilo.
Interesting. As always, if you don't recognize that voice, I'm not sure which rock you've been living under for a while, but that is the voice of Pastor Evan Mawarire. I'm not sure if we call that a sermon, we call that a campaign statement, but you heard the man himself speaking. That was Pastor Evan Mawarire. He's joining us this morning on Startup Capital. As always, this is your station and you can be part of the conversation. The number to dial is 0717 777. You can call in or call in on our landline number. That's 495112. Someone is saying, I like Evan, but I'm sorry, we're not going to vote based on sympathy. We understand that what you went through, but come election day, we will vote for someone with a good vision. Stop reminding us of what you went through. We already know.
Oh, well, no, before we even carry on further, I mean, the people who have reminded us here is not me, it's the people that have asked the questions. And the bottom line is this. We have never, and I will never ask for people's sympathy. That is why when I embarked on the journey I embarked on, it was not for anyone to say, we feel sorry for you, so we're going to support you. Whether there were 5,000 people, whether there were 5 people, I have continued my journey. And so as we carry on, and I'm glad for that particular comment that has come through, there is absolutely a vision to serve our people. There is a vision to bring better service delivery. There's a vision to bring accountability. There's a vision to progress the city of Harare and the communities we live in to become safer, to become cleaner, and to become places that we can be proud of. And that's the vision I'm standing behind, not backing out from it at all.
Oh, wow, strong words right there. But let's see if people are buying it. Good morning. Who am I speaking to? Hi, good morning. Who am I speaking to and where are you listening from?
I'm Togara. I'm in Kambuzuma.
Right, Mr. Togara, please can you turn off your radio, and what's your comment or contribution?
Okay, I would like to ask Pastor Ivan. In fact, I would like to make a contribution and then ask him if you...
Okay, make it quick. Sorry, Togara, sorry. I want you to make it quick, but turn off your radio, because if the feedback continues, then we can't hear you and the signal is bad.
Okay.
Right.
Pastor Ivan, politics is about numbers. And if you're going to be representing only the people of Mount Pleasant and not effecting change as far as the presidential race is concerned, then how far do you think you're going to go? Because you're going to be working under laws that are put into action by people that you didn't even help. Are you going to endorse a presidential candidate? That's my question. Okay. Are you endorsing any presidential candidates to lead the people so that whatever you're fighting for can go national? Because having it just local is probably not going to get you anyway.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much, Togara. That's a really, really good question. Now, as the Coalition of Independence, we are absolutely interested and know that there is a bigger race that we are a part of. There is the parliamentary side of things, and then there's the presidential. And I know Togara talked about the presidential only, but there's also the parliamentary side of it. And of course, as an individual and as a Coalition of Independence, we are going to be deciding together which parliamentary candidates we're going to get behind and which presidential candidate we're going to get behind. It's a process, it's a journey, and people have said this to us, well, tell us which presidential candidate you're going to be back. And said, no, we will do that in due course. Right now, let us form, let us get on the ground, and let us gain traction. That's what everyone did. So we're getting to that point, and I don't think that for us it's going to be something that we will leave out. We want to make sure that we, first of all, are the alternative for the council seat, and then to also be able to say to the people of Zimbabwe, this is whom we have confidence in going forward. You're free to make your choice.
Right, but at the same time, what I don't understand, Pastor, is politician, is that you say we, right? You're going to make a decision, you're going to come up with a unified position or a position on issues, and yet you're not a political party, you're a coalition. So how do you remain an independent candidate, and yet you have shared visions, shared values? How is that not a political party?
No, but why can't independents come together and share ideas and share a platform and still be independent in the way that they apply themselves on the ground in their territory? I think sometimes we want to box, what an independent is. We can start to create what an independent looks like, especially if they're part of a coalition in a different way. Why can't we have the opportunity to do that?
Right. So here's a question, because the question I ask is not this is a bad thing, because I appreciate you're right. Why can't we? Well, because we've never imagined it, but clearly you have. So can you explain to us how it works? Because I'm struggling to understand it. So help us to understand it. How do you remain an independent candidate and yet you have shared positions? What's the difference between the coalition of independents and a political party? What's the difference?
Well, with us, the difference is in the fact that you have an opportunity to share a campaign platform, number one. You have an opportunity to share ideas, number two, and to share resources. But you remain an independent candidate in terms of you being able to reach your ward and to be able to craft the kind of solutions that your ward requires. And in terms of how you propose to get those done, in terms of your representation in council, it's not whipped. You are not being forced by a party. You are not being forced by a particular group of people. You can agree to say, no, guys, I'll run with it, or I'm not going to run with it for where I'm at. So for me, I think that's how this has been laid out. The benefit of running as independents who have a coalition is that you are able to reach all your voters, not in just one constituency or in one ward, but right across the city. You can campaign together. You lend each other a louder voice and a bigger voice going forward. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay, well, let us know. Do you agree? Is there anything wrong with it? Do you think it's a good idea, bad idea, whatever you think? Let us know. The platform is yours. It's 0717 777 777. It's Startup Capital, your weekday business breakfast companion. I'm speaking to Pastor Evan Mawarire, who's now throwing his hat in to run for council for Mount Pleasant Ward 7. Good morning. Who am I speaking to and where are you listening from?
Hello. My name is Wilfred from Relevance.
Your name is, sorry?
Wilfred.
Wilfred. All right. Wilfred, what's your contribution or what's your question?
Right. I believe Pastor Mawarire is head Julius Malema of South Africa.
Right.
He's on record. He insisted that the problem is not with the previous Jacob Zuma, but the problem is with ANC. I want to know if Pastor Mawarire shares the same view in the context of our situation here in Zimbabwe. That's what I want to know.
Thank you very, very much. Good question. My journey is unmistakable. Over the last 2 years, I have not, over the last 2 years, I have not held back my words at my disappointment with ZANU-PF, and I know that he's talking about that in our context. He's talking about ANC in South Africa. So in Zimbabwe, we're talking about ZANU-PF. In my criticisms of Robert Mugabe, ZANU-PF has not been spared. It is a system that for over 38 years now has allowed the country to deteriorate and allowed the country to get into a place where it is, undeveloped and citizens are not allowed to participate. So to answer your question, absolutely, I think that ZANU-PF and the system of ZANU-PF is something that has led us to where we are, and we have to continue to do everything in our power to change that, to free people from the oppression that the policies of ZANU-PF got us into.
All right then, as always, do join the conversation at 0717 777 777. Good morning. Who am I speaking to and where are you listening from?
Hello, Trish, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you doing?
Of course, I'm Advance Mazo from Airport.
Right, Advance. What's your contribution? What's your question?
Okay, I have a contribution. I have two problems with my mission.
Go on.
The thing is, his lack of political affiliations would lead him to absolutely nowhere. That's the first thing that I'd like to say about, because people need a person who has a vision and a support that is well recognizable. And then the other thing is, when Mr. Mawarire was coming on the social scene, he was a very, very strong person indeed. And now, him running as a councillor, I think he's just like going back into the very, 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 very low road. He had rather been doing his business as an MP, or else he could have gone into a far, far much better post than that one. I would encourage him to look himself as a big person who can be able to run this country and who can also be able to run his constituency as a whole, rather than just running as a councillor, because his impact was that could lead to Zimbabwe change as a whole, not just the city of Harare or Mount Pleasant is my concern. That's my contribution there. But I would also encourage him to have a political affiliation that would at least give him a
broader base of support so that in his future he can also be able to look for higher posts. That's my contribution there.
All right.
In terms of political affiliation, first of all, I want to thank the caller for his comments. I think that they're very encouraging, and I want to thank him for the kind of confidence and faith that he has in my abilities. Concerning political affiliation, I think it's important for us to understand that we cannot all be confined to the same political affiliation. Political affiliations are what we choose or what we start. The political affiliations that are there right now were started by certain people, certain individuals or groups of people at some points. So Zimbabwe has got to learn that we can start new political affiliations, we can start new political journeys at any point, and that's what I am part of doing here, starting a new political affiliation in terms of people understanding that you can choose an independent, that you can choose someone who is different, because at the end of the day it's not about pledging allegiance to a political party. It's about getting the kind of service delivery that you are looking for. And of course he's talking about why you've gone for council, it's too low, you should have gone for MP. Council is grassroots mobilization, council is grassroots organization. That's where change happens, and that's where people can be empowered, that's where people can be mobilized, and that's where I believe I can serve best. I don't want to sign up for things that I know I may not be able to deliver. So for me it's a vote of honesty by going to council, to saying this is where I fit in and this is where I'm going to be most useful.
Right, but at the same time, a lot of the messages that are coming in are speaking about the issue, and I know it's now becoming a dirty word, but vote splitting, because it comes back to the issue of there should be a shared agenda in different parties, and if you're not part of one of these political formations and you're an independent, you do stand the chance of not only losing but also maybe taking away votes from other opposition parties. What's your response to such statements?
I think my concern with that statement of saying that you are vote splitting is that people are assuming that everyone was going to vote for one political idea already. There's a lot of people that have not been affiliated to anything at all, that have been waiting or still searching or still looking for something. People like me and what we are doing have been able to onboard people for the last 2 years. We have been onboarding people that had logged off politics in Zimbabwe. That's our job. So we are picking up all those people, all those voters who had said, look, I don't know where to vote, or I'm not going to be voting, or I have no confidence in what is there. If someone is already stuck to a particular political affiliation, then what's the problem? There should be no fear. They are fine. They have a home. But there are many people that were not part of the vote that are now coming on board. So we are actually serving a purpose of activating all those that were not going to vote, or all those that had lost confidence in the political system. And I think the last 2 years for me personally proves that particular point.
All right. And as always, you can join the conversation at 0717 777. That's on our WhatsApp platform, or you can join us on social media. We're actually live streaming on Facebook. You can find that on my page. You can find it on the Capitalk 100.4 page. And I've got messages that were coming in through on the different Facebook platforms. So you can actually then also just let us know what are your comments and what are some of the issues that you'd also love to hear. Now, just a quick look at some of the messages that are coming in. Someone is saying, Anzi, politicians are like chameleons. They change and start to show their true colors once they taste power. You have a sweet tongue, but people are asking, are you actually going to taste change when you taste power? Another message is also saying, Anzi, Mr. Mawarire, don't mix politics and church. Gumbo kunze, gumbo mumba, aiwa. Stick to one area. That's a mighty in Rua sending in that message. Another one says, Anzi, I think Pastor Ivan must remain an activist. He must continue fighting for our rights. Kana jiri ijo javafunga. Now I support him. That's Elma who's sending in that message as well. So it's some mixed feelings from Elma as well. Someone is saying, enough respect, Pastor Mawarire. Vakanyanya babava pamberine basa.
Thank you.
So it's 0717 777 on your WhatsApp platform. You can send us a message or even a voice note and be part of the conversation. And Pastor Evan Mawarire, muriku gona step by step like Joseph Hana kungumuka ava mutungamiriri rambai muchienda mberi vamwe vese avadi kubuda pachena. Ma politicians kana aya asi avabudi pachena pamberi nemi as well. Seems you've got quite a bit of support. Another one says, Pastor Evan, why are you limiting yourself to it is very disappointing with a God-given talent and a gift? May you not use it to the fullest. Why, Andy, why are you pacing God? That's Lynette who's sending in that message. Lynette, you make my day. So it seems the charisma and the charm is working. But you know what it is, Trish.
as pastors, we have a job. The Bible gives us that and says, stand up for the weak, speak for the voiceless, and fight for those that are oppressed. And so that is part of my job description as a calling, not as as a job, a 9-to-5 job. I do that as a calling. Everywhere I go, in everything I do, and that's the reason I stood up, was the fact that I felt that no, me and my children and those in my generation are being oppressed. So we keep going. And I know, again, people feel like, no, you've gone for something that's low. I have to say it. It speaks of what my intention is. I could have launched a presidential campaign that would have gone nowhere but would have just been exciting. I would have received the same attacks. I could have gone and joined some other party as an MP. I would have received the same attacks. So we have to understand as a people that we hold different views, and sometimes if we give each other time and if we work those views, we will find ourselves arriving at a particular destination. So I take all of these on board, but the journey continues, and we keep going. If I need to tweak certain things, I'll listen. And you know what, I made a mistake, let's change. And I've done that many times on my journey.
My mistakes Pure Taps Matari says on Facebook, and he's saying the independent candidate is a good concept, but when it comes to accountability, who holds you guys accountable, let's say in cases of corruption?
Okay, so this is one of the reasons why we have a coalition of independents, so that we can share the issue of accountability. But also, we want to be able to teach citizens or residents that their councillor should be held accountable by the residents of that community. Okay, that is the first port of call when it comes to holding someone to account. In Zimbabwe, we had lost that ability and that confidence in holding public officials to account. Many of them are very arrogant when you try to hold them to account. Residents should be able to call up their councillor or call him out, mount a protest against a corrupt councillor or an absent councillor, and say, this is where this councillor is messing up. We demand accountability.
Right. As always, you can join the conversation. I seem to have lost that caller, but do keep calling in at 0717 777. Hugo is the best comment I've heard today. Anzi, I won't vote for him. He's too talkative. Standard you get no nagiza and this is
there's no nyarare Roman
manzi mkanyingisa utora sifundisa zvishandi makutonge makuchechi makuparidza munana kufara nazvo
vanhu vanondinagiza idinga.
But anyway, regatinzobo munari talkative utanoti chi. Good morning, who am I speaking to and where are you listening from?
Good morning. Yeah, it's someone from around town.
Right, someone from around town who has no name. We'll call you someone. Someone, what's your question?
Yeah, someone. Pastor Evan.
Yes, Mgoma. Thank you, sir.
Politician. And no, vazhinji zvinotanga ine mhosva dzokuponda nokuita sei nokuita sei saka achiti vanhu havazive Mwari ndosaka vachita izvi. Nawo paya munhu ari kubva nokusaidzira Mwari atanga kuti zvekuataka. Saka kurati isusu senyika pacheduka kana tisati akuda change tinamba tichingoataka. Until we embrace change, until we appreciate the goodness of the Lord, ndoti zvinhu zvedu munyika zvichinji. Saka inini pastor nokuvhoterai.
Thank you, Mgoma Samuel. I want to tell
them kutangira kukansela ikoko.
Exactly.
Kuti munhu ari kuda kuema pamusoro kuropa inemba dzakawandisa politics.
Matopedza.
Saka matangane kwakanaka unotanga nemuzasi tichiona makalazi ako ese kana ruyelo. Kana zvoti ngati kudhaya witi ori.
Aiwa mandigadzirira interview Mgoma matopedza.
Saka imi makarongeka pamberi.
Mgoma Samuel wayo kuzokampenera mfundisi. So I have to ask one of the tough questions this morning, Mfundisi. I came to your launch yesterday. Very well organized. I loved the t-shirts. I didn't get one, but it's fine. Thank you so much, Mfundisi. Politics, Mfundisi. But I was doing quick math. The amount of money that was spent on that launch, Mfundisi. Where are you guys getting money?
So this is a very interesting subject. What people need to understand, Trish, what you saw actually yesterday, first and foremost, doesn't cost that much money.
I did the math.
Yeah. People have to understand that. You know that it doesn't cost you a lot of money to dress nice.
I know that. But because
you know. So here's the thing. And when we had very few t-shirts, we didn't even have a lot of t-shirts there. Chokutanga, in terms of where did the money come from, every councillor you saw on that stage contributed to the budget of that launch, because we say to each other, guys, if we are believing in what we are doing here, then mari dzedu isu ndo zinofana kutanga kupinda pa campaign pacho. Amufund whenever amwevanu. You don't, no one funds your bid for office first before you. Now we are going to then go to the general public and say, guys, we're fundraising. If you believe in us, donate. And there are many who would love to do that. But it starts with you. Kana uri councillor are serious. I want to kujigamarize vanu first. Yako usatuwaisa on the line. Everything you saw yesterday came from our councillors, and I must be honest with you that we haven't completely finished paying for it. We've got a few more dollars left that we've got to put towards that. But we sat down with service providers. We asked them for donations. We asked them to help us. We asked them to to come to the party and help us, and they did. Okay, so this is the spirit in which we are beginning to run this campaign, that it is us first. We believe in it, so we put in our personal monies. And then we go into our community and say, please help us. We're trying to change things. We're trying to change where things are going. And I'm so glad it came out the way it came out in Izuru. It was beautiful. Our team at People's Own Voice did a fantastic job.
So you mean, Kuti, when I do an audit of your bank accounts, I'm not going to find money coming in from, I don't know, Bill Gates, from Aliko Dangote, from Konrad Manawashe. We won't find any of those monies.
No, I mean, look, as we start to canvas for donations, because there's a campaign must be supported in Nemari. Apana campaign no support wa nemepu. Ngati garitazi ya hizozo. Panodiwa mari to pay for t-shirts, to pay for flyers, to pay for traveling to this point and to pay for traveling to that point. We are going to be reaching out to Zimbabweans and saying, guys, help us to come into office and to serve you with these ideas. So in a sense, we are selling a product. We're saying we want to come and transform Harare in this way. Mvura yakachena, mabina no takurwa, maroda no gadzirwa, mavenda zidani paka naka pekutengesera. And we sell that vision to people. And those that buy into that say, you know what, I'm going to vote for you, but I want to also fund you to make sure that you get into office so that these ideas are actually achieved.
All right, then, as always, you can be part of the conversation. Last person that we're going to pick up on. Good morning. You please make it quick. You're live on Capital 100.4 FM.
Hi, Talent. This is Roderick.
Roderick, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. What's your question?
Pastor, all the best. People have to realize when we need this transition, this is the democracy we want. People should not be told what to do. Thank you for being humble, for accepting to go for what you feel is the right thing for you. Not to be told by people to go for the higher office. Maybe you're not ready for that.
All right, then.
Thank you, Roderick.
Roderick. But okay, I'm going to give you 50 seconds to answer this. Hansi, Ivan's never been a pastor. He wanted to take advantage of his popularity to get into politics. We want people with a clear vision, not people who want to take advantage of people for their support. Pastor Ivan, sit down. That's Tapiwa Jakarta. So in 15 seconds, Pastor.
Tapiwa Jakarta, sitting down is not something that you tell me to do because you didn't tell me to stand up. That's number one. Number two, we are on a journey to change Zimbabwe. Every hand should be on board. I was an ordinary citizen, still an ordinary citizen, effected change in Zimbabwe, showed that you can do it as an ordinary citizen, and I'm moving along with that particular vision. I suggest that he, Mr. Jakarta, as well, stands up and stops sitting down and throwing stones at those that are standing up.
Wow. Okay. On those very strong words, we wrap up this morning's show. Thank you so much for joining us, Pastor Ivan. We really appreciate your time.